So we're going live. We're live. Hooray. All right. So I'm actually I'm curious to start, Neville, if you wouldn't mind sharing what the empty nested list bug is and how that's going.
Cool. The empty nested list bug is a bug that we've encountered, or that Misha and Christian encountered when writing a list that has a struct, but the struct is empty. So the issue there is that when calculating the right definition levels to write, if, for example, you need to have 3 definition levels, you end up having 2 definition levels, and then it triggers an assertion error in the Parquet code where you've got, let's say, 3 values, but you're trying to write 2 definition levels. So I've been working on it for quite a while, on and off. I've been quite busy with work and other stuff. But I was working on it earlier today, and the test case that Misha created.
I'm assuming that this is the bug that I've got shared on my screen right now.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I just want to find the test case that Misha created. I got that to pass, but I've got regressions on 2 other test cases. So I'm just looking at those, and then once I've resolved them, I'll be able to submit a pull request. Okay, I'm just gonna paste it in the chat now. Yeah, and that's me. I haven't been doing anything else, at least Parquet and error related.
Okay. So Misha, I'm kind of curious from you, is this an active problem for us?
That was like a week or 2 ago. That's actually what stopped us from the initial release, right? But Christian came up with this dead letters queue. So in Kafka Delta ingest, we have now an option which enables a dead letters queue table, which actually catches those errors and write the invalid records to that another table. So the whole stream cannot will not be aborted just because of the single row. Yeah, we've kind of got a workaround for it, sort of, right? Just by filtering those records. But to be honest, like we got only for one table when we had this a list of structures, and from what it seems is like 1 or 2 messages per per several millions a day. So not a big of a deal. From the Kafka Delta ingest standpoint, other than that, we went live for 24 streams with the top message rates, like 300 messages per second. Not that big, but it seems to be working, and it's just like each one of them works on the quarter of CPU. And the top stream consumes like 700 megabytes of RAM, and that's only because the messages in these topics are pretty large, like 3 kilobytes per message. So yeah, that's it.
I think in case Denny watches this later, what that means is that we have production Delta writers consuming right now with Rust, which is really cool. We did it!
Yay!
And I think it performs order of magnitude better than the previous system. So it's all worth it.
Many orders of magnitude.
Yeah, I can wait to migrate some of the existing Spark streams and to compare the impact that we have with Rust. Also, I have another update from me. We've merged a writer map support to the main. The impact is that Data Fusion crate does not yet on Arrow 6.00 snapshot, which that means that we have to comment that out from the build because it's been failing. And we do need this like 6.00 Arrow RS because it has a map support, which is essential for checkpoints usage, as the schema has a map structure in it. So until we are on 6.00 stable release, especially the data fusion, it will be tuned off to that point.
Yeah. For those who are using the latest master branch, main branch from Delta RS, you will have to update to use the latest master branch from Arrow RS as well. So that will be Arrow 6.x release. So data fusion will be broken for now until data fusion catch up to the 6.0 release.
From the Rust crate perspective, the last release that I see we did was 0.40, which was
we haven't done a release
this summer
for a while. There are a lot of new features that's been added since then.
Yeah.
Do we have any estimation time at when the 6.0 will be released for Arrow?
Well, I don't know what's the next time Arrow will do a full release.
I'm also not sure, but I'll just check.
Okay. I think based on what I've seen, if we wanted to do a new crate release, we'd have to get a release dependency for Arrow, Parquet, Data Fusion, assuming we wanted to keep that in. And then the Azure SDK for Rust, the last time we just disabled. I believe
it's still disabled in the release branch.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if they've cut a release. Yeah, they haven't cut a new release of that. So yeah, we would still have to disable the Azure SDK. I don't know why they won't just cut a release. I think given all that's changed in the Rust binding, I think it would be good for us to try to get to a release in the next month or so, because there's some really good stuff there. Like all of this stuff, actually, now that I'm thinking about all that stuff that you did, Misha, you and Christian, around tombstones and getting checkpoints sorted, I think that's all in main and not in the released 0.40 code.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like, we need a new Arrow major release for checkpoints to work.
Well, so technically, we can release some of the features. So we can release features that was merged before we merged the Arrow 6.x release branch. So if we want to do that, we can do it. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for the main Arrow release before we can do another release.
Hey, yeah, if Arrow 6.0 is not coming until 2022, then that's the route that I would want to go. Just because that's what I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
The 5.0 was released on the 17th of July. I'd estimate that we've got about 3 to 4 more weeks till 6.0 is released.
QP, Misha, I could wait for that.
Yeah,
that's a lot sooner than I expected.
Like 1 month looks optimistic. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and we're just gonna have to keep Azure disabled. That annoys me, but can't do anything about it. QP, you mentioned that there's some recent contributions that you may think are worth highlighting.
Yeah, so this is not a full list. I might have missed some important ones, but this is what I had in mind. We have Connor, who has been a really active contributor to the project and has been picking up a lot of help needed tickets For example, he added a create table feature to Delta RS, so you can now create new tables using the Rust binding. Brandon, who has added GCP support to Delta RS, which is a big milestone. So we now support all major cloud providers now. Yuan Zhou, who has also been a new and really active contributor, who has been adding, helping with all these help wanted tickets. He added batch deletes, which will make vacuum a lot faster for large tables. This idea was suggested by Daniel, and Yuan Zhou also added a lot of other features, like, for example, he went through all the partition serialization code path and make sure that it's supported. Make sure we cover all the types. Florian added actual file system argument for the Python binding. So when you're loading a Delta table, you can pass a actual file system argument, which allows you to basically overwrite, basically support file system that's not supported by PyArrow by default. So you can pass any kind of file system object to read the objects from any remote store that you want. Florian also added a glue catalog support, so that's also pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so
I saw that one.
You don't have to with that. You don't have to hard code the table S3 path or whatever path that you want. Actually, it has to be S3 because it's AWS Glue, so it only works within AWS. But you can pass in the table name once you have the Glue integration set up. So that's also pretty cool. Florian also audited all the table fields. Delta, actually audited all the Delta commit action fields. So to make sure that for the fields that has to be optional, we are setting it as optional, and for the fields that's not optional, we're not using optional. And this has a impact on compatibilities between the official reference implementation. We ran into problems where there were fields that's supposed to be optional, and we're not setting it as optional, and causing some crashes in the official reader. And I think there is one more thing that Misha did that's really critical, but I forgot.
Yeah, that's maybe that's what we've been doing with Christian. The
config you added.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We've added a config which actually there's a lot more options, such as retention lock policy. So I noticed in Spark, after each checkpoint, they are trying to remove logs and checkpoints which is older than 30 days. So we don't have that, and that'll be nice to have.
Tyler, that will be introduce Delta config and Tombstone's retention policy. Yeah, that's the one. So this replicates all the config options from the reference implementation. So you can set all the table configs now. We don't honor up the table configs, but at least you can set all of them now.
Yeah. And then I have another critical bug has been fixed by Christian. That's the fixed compatibility, fixed checkpoint compatibility for remove fields. Yeah. So the issue is that there's been breaking changes from Delta 0.7 to Delta 1.0 that they have a dynamic schema. So there's like specific flag ascended file metadata, and we were not we were writing this incorrectly because so when Spark reads like a Delta 1.0 reset, if extended file metadata is false, then the Parquet schema has those size tags, version values should be omitted from Parquet schema. But if that's true, then they should be present. and like we were just like writing out to it, right? If that's missing, but that's actually a like a div that will extend schema Spark would fail. So this change introduces a like a dynamic schema to include those columns or not, depending on that sended file metadata. Yeah, so we're trying to aim the Delta 1.0 version.
Yeah, this is something that's not clear from the spec. The spec also says,
At all, yeah.
only says you have you need to provide these extra fields if the extended file metadata is set to true. But it didn't say if that it's not set to true. If, for example, if it's false or if that's not set at all, you cannot include any of these fields. Otherwise, you will crash the reference implementation.
Yeah,
So
even if those fields are null, right?
Yep. Null or false, you cannot set these extra fields in the schema.
Yeah, and we found that only because the error was indexed out of bounds, and they were trying to reach those columns not by name but rather the index number, which was out the number of columns that was included in schema.
Interesting.
For this branch, Misha, this writer map support, how long is that? How long are y'all expecting to keep that around? I'm assuming that hasn't been merged in
We
yet.
have merged just like a couple hours ago. That's the that's what I was talking about when we
I see.
When we commented our data fusion.
Got it. All right, cool.
Oh,
I think that might be
Florian
everything
also
for
has
us to talk
a new PR that everyone needs to review. It's a PR that adds the history API. That's also a pretty cool feature.
Oh, I can commit info. That's nice.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
Yep.
Cool. One of the things I was speaking with Denny about, to change topics slightly, I was speaking with Denny about scheduling like a meetup to talk about Kafka Delta ingest and the road to production. I think it's unfortunately probably going to be too late in the evening for you, Misha, but it'll be right in the middle of the day for Christian. So I think he'll be able to present some of what y'all have done there. And I think we're shooting for October 7th. Which is a Thursday, a couple of weeks away.
If you happen to have a recording, I'll be happy with that.
It will be recorded.
Okay.
In this channel or some other channel?
I actually don't know. He just said, let's do something on October 7th. I don't know where we're doing this.
I trust Danny.
That's maybe not the best idea, but okay. Anything else we should discuss this morning or afternoon, evening?
I think there is a Delta. Oh, sorry, not Delta. Delta Lake office hour. That folks will be interested in.
Yeah, that's what Denny just announced in the events channel in the Delta user Slack. So the Delta Lake community office hours are going to be alternating. I think it's every 2 weeks. Yeah. So this Thursday, that is September 16th, we'll be starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then 2 weeks from then, we would be doing 4 p.m. Pacific to try to accommodate the global audience. But the goal of the office hours is really to have general Delta Lake discussion. He's going to be bringing some of the committers from Databricks to that. I think it's on my calendar. He's asked me to show up for a couple of those. But yeah, that'll be, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Anything else, gentlemen?
from me.
No? Well, thank you all for joining. And yeah, great work. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, bye.